Yes, this is Tippy I. The time has come for the Lions to tell our own story. You're listening to the Lion's Voice vlog. Respect and love from St. Croix VI to the world. Rastafari.
Greetings, this is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the lion's voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use I as an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Rastafari, the lion's voice.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it's Exodus. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the Lion's Voice.
Yes, Jah people, this is Michael Shamai representing. I will say, hear the Lion Voice, saying it is time for the lions and the lionesses to tell their own story. King David killed Goliath with a stone, we original dread.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice, Rastafari.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up Lion's Voice. Now put it, I Jalifa said that.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
Well, Lion Voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion Voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion Voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion Voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion Voice.
Jano, I'm so hungry, bro. I haven't eaten all day. Like, my head started to hurt me too. Like, what more could I eat right now?
What about a city samosa? Get your samosa, a fusion of Indian, Jamaican, and African culture. City samosas, the best samosas in the city.
You should do good, be good, live good. You should do good, be good, live good.
Cause it's all about the knowledge of the man in you. Emmanuel, those anointed by Samuel. We lions like Daniel,
brothers like Ishmael and Israel, here to break the spell. Oh companions, I bid farewell, cause I see you joining up with the legions of hell. I spit flames, fire blaze, I cut a clear path through the wrath, protected by his rod and staff, while the wicked blow away like the shaft in the aftermath of their own craft, snared in their own trap set like Hamlet. I never will forget my root, King David's offshoot. That's why I speak the truth at all costs. Don't wanna get tossed in the sinking mire, the forgetful fire, full of tormented souls who never achieve their goals. That's why I hold up the banner high. Ras Tafari abide with I. Let's ride for life. Tell the youths about the king in the heights, Mount Zion nice. Say you ain't got to die to see it. That's the lie, you see it. That's why so many perish, never even try to see it. When you could buy a plane ticket, straight fly and see it. Come on. Say
You should do good, be good, live good. You should do good, be good, live good. Hey yo, time to fly away. Yard up in a Mount Zion, moon see eye another day. In a mama Africa, feel the sun rays. Hail Rastafari, give thanks and praise. Hey yo, rubber Babylon, them got you captivate. Cause all you talk about is just the money that you make. Well, money they make, got the slave master, face master, still control them. The devil still hold them. I focus my thoughts on the one who hold the golden scepter. Some call him elected God. I and I know there's no separation. Africa await, so we making preparations. Black liberation. Hey yo, we must rise. No time to fantasize. Babylon sex don't gotta scandalize. Them slave ships so can be romanticized. The vandals come slave and vandalize. Even the black woman them come scandalize. Them try to fight. Race all trace of the 12 tribes. Can't put your trust in Pharisees and scribes. So Haile, Selassie, I never take no bribes. Got to do good, that's the way to survive. So you should do good, be good, live good. You should do good, be good, live good. Fly away.
What do you have to tell the people about Ras Tafari?
Lie to the world. King of kings and the conquering line of the tribe of Judah. Elected himself, first rightful ruler. Hey yo, yeah, hail them high, hail the black king on the 23rd of July. So tell them guy who praise God up in the sky, it's a lie. The Almighty living on your knife. From ancient time them a try. Them Romans know them just open to them suit and ties. Criminals ain't got no alibi, they stole my people. Then them come without them genocide.
Are you talking about slavery?
Them couldn't kill. The lion will come conquer Judah tribe. Go through tribulation, I and I strive, see sufferation, I and I still rise. That's why we tell them in America, live Rastafari in every ghetto area. We come if you tell them in a Toronto, straight at it. Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of His chosen Queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Bonsu, aka DejazmatchKwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man. I'm a creative industry attorney. I'm an author. I'm an artist. I'm an actionist. And right now, I am the host of Lion Talk Live. Welcome to Lion Talk Live, and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where the lions are telling our own story, confidently marching on to the victory. If this is your first time on the platform, welcome. This is a family platform, global family,
We are coming together, historic rising, fastest growing Rastafari platform on the planet. And today's episode, it's going to get a little bit heavy. It's going to get intense. It's going to be informative. It's going to be educational. We're going to be talking about the Coral Garden Massacre. A lot of people have come within the time where wearing locks is very fashionable, and you wear your locks and you know what I mean, all of this, the trappings of Rastafari, and you become a popular person. We are going to now talk about the time when Rastafari was persecuted, when you could be beaten, killed because of your faith. You know, when they were shaving people with broken buckles, you know, some terrible atrocities that took place. We're going to hear the story about Coral Garden, what it's all about. This is one of the seminal moments, turning points in Jamaica, galvanized the movement. 3 years before His Majesty visited Jamaica. So we're gonna have some representatives from the Coral Garden, the Rastafari Coral Garden Benevolent Society, live and direct from Montego Bay, St. James, Jamaica, on the platform tonight to talk about the Coral Garden Massacre. And then we're gonna talk about an annual event. I think it's a 10th annual event, fundraising event for the Coral Garden Benevolent Society, the Rastafari Coral Garden Benevolent Society, and the powerful work that they're doing. I toured the elder facility that they have for the victims who went through the atrocities, that is managed by the society. Powerful. At some point, we'll put something up on the Lion Voice Network. I still have that footage. We have a lot to talk about. So I want the item to just get your ital snacks. Stay tuned for a powerful episode. Before I bring forward the episode, let me first say that I have to big up the Lion Pride. And if you subscribe, you're part of the Lion Pride. Serious thing. Big up. We have just passed 35,000 in the Lion Pride, and we're already on our way to 36,000. So, you know what I mean? It seemed like the thing is really soaking into the global family, and we're very proud to know that this started as a vision. You know, I was just talking to Ras Daniel. Ras Daniel showed me, say, he was following before we touch all 100 subscribers, you know what I mean? So give thanks for all of the items who have been patient. I know, you know, can I get some messages says, boy, sometime the housekeeping, you talk a long time, Ras. I mean, no, we'll try shave it down a little bit. But it's so passionate to I, because to make this work, we have to monetize it and make it sustainable. So I have to take the time to encourage ones to become a part of our Lion Pride on Patreon, and to big up those who silently every month contribute, so that we can continue to bring content, we can improve the content, and we can evolve into a world-class Rastafari media operation, which is the vision. We deserve it, and we have to fund ourselves to stay truly independent. We cannot go the route where we're looking sponsors and things. Yes, we have sponsors. Big up Frontline Publishing and all of my sponsors, you know what I mean? But these are grassroots, community-based entities that we're dealing with. When I sip my water, I'm sipping from my Rastafari brethren business, Ras Ledge, who is a sponsor. When I'm talking about Wally King's graphic and design, I'm a brethren, Rastafari brethren, who do websites and who did our Lion Voice Network logo, you know what I mean, who is also the founder of CMOS Life, another sponsor. So we're building a network, an economic foundation. We're rising together. As the channel get bigger, we also help to funnel business to our Rastafari and Pan-African businesses. So we have a vision. So I do have to take time for the housekeeping. So for everyone who's patient, knows that the Ras long-winded, but I give thanks for the patience and the growth. And you can fast forward through the thing if you watch it on the replay, which most people watch it on the replay. But we have to build the community while we bring forward the content. Cause I don't want to be here and then the item I say, wait, what happened to Ras Kwasi? Remember Lion Voice? Boy, that did nice, you know, and then you don't see I because we couldn't give the time because of the economic the economics never balance. So there is a reality. So big up my Lion Pride on Patreon, 32 strong. We are launching the 100 Lion Pride. We're getting ready to start our community Zoom town hall meetings for the Lion Pride on Patreon, because we want to bring together like minds. We know powerful things can happen. And I don't want to just be bringing show topics for myself. I like company. So the Lion Pride on Patreon, they're going to help to select guests. We're going to bounce ideas off of each other. We're going to help build their platforms, find out what they have going on, connect them with other ones in the Lion Pride on Patreon, and just make the powers multiply and the blessing flow. You know what I mean? It's not just blessing for I represent the community. You know what I mean? I may have two of my family members online. That's why you see I laugh with most of my guests, because I work with these people over the years, years and years, and now we have a platform where we can rise together. So it's a joy. And then more of the global family. Big up Selassie from Australia, our latest Patreon member. But I never know Rastafari there in Australia. I mean, I said that, but we never know in a brethren from Australia, Linkai. A brethren Linkai from Australia, and it's part of the Patreon, you know what I mean, giving his attribution. So I have to big up Lion Pride on Patreon. I have to big up the Action Lion Pride, because some people can't subscribe monthly. They can do a super chat for $1, $2, $20 here and there. They can send a CashApp or a Zelle every now and then. Or they don't have $1, but they can like, they comment, and they share. This is a family. You get in where you fit in. You know what I mean? We don't reject anyone. I big up the Ubuntu Lion Pride. Those people give a one-time contribution over $70 to. You know what I mean? They are immortalized on the platform, and we're going to keep that price there until July 1st, going up to $100. These people are immortalized. That means when we build a physical space and we have a wall, we are going to make a wall with Ubuntu people. Right, that's all. You know what I mean? So that is a lifetime gratitude to become part of the Ubuntu Lion Pride. So that is there. And then we have the watch and peep. Some people just watch, and we give thanks for them ones there. You just watch. I love the item. And then you have the peepers, and we see a couple of the people start comment and try bringing a little negativity. In Jamaica, we call them bad mind. Foreign, they call them haters. I big them up too. I love them. And I will tell them, I warn them, this is the most dangerous platform for people, because if you watch too much, you're going to become someone who love the platform, and you turn into a watcher, and then you're gone in an Action Lion Pride, and next thing you know, me and they are your brethren. So dangerous for your people. Come peep on that channel here. You know what I mean? If you want negative, better you just avoid the whole platform, because it's a dangerous, it's contagious. The joy and the love is contagious. I'm telling the item. So big up the whole ecosystem that makes this platform possible. I will always take the time to big you up. As we build the platform, yes, we will shrink down the housekeeping, but as we are rising, you know what I mean, we're going to take the time to explain to the family how they can support, because I get a lot of sounds of, we love what they are doing, Ras, continue, it's so needed, but most people don't know how they can support. So we're very open. This is how we stay independent, non-aligned, Rastafari media. So we'll give thanks. All right, housekeeping out of the way, family. We are getting ready to introduce our guests for the evening. As I said, the topic is a heavy topic. It's going to get heavy. We did have Sister Nanny come on the platform and talk about this already, so we're not going to go into any history and the time machine. Well, we're going in time machine, but we're going to 1963 to the Coral Garden. However, the channel was much smaller then. We have grown, so we're going to revisit the details about the massacre. We're going to talk about the Coral Garden Benevolent Society. We're going to talk about the event coming up. So prepare yourself for an auditory, visual experience here on Lion Talk Live. A Lion Talk family, my Lion Pride from the four corners of the earth, help I to give a warm welcome to Sister Nanny and Ras Daniel, my two colleagues, my work colleagues, them, you know what I mean, on the battlefield of Rastafari. Please introduce themselves to the Lion Pride family.
Greetings, family, Rastafari, honorable, you know. Give thanks to DejKwasi. Give thanks to the Most High for the time and the moment, you know. Give thanks, Empress Meneng, the balance. Yes, I.
Royal greeting, Ras Daniel. We're really honored to have you on the panel once again. And we're looking forward for your solo episode. I had the chance to meet the Brethren Queen too, and they promise I if you come on Lion Love. So we'll get the love story. You know, say we love a love story around here. So we're gonna get that love story there. You know, what a joy to see the Rastafari family working together, prospering. So welcome, Ras Daniel. And we have our mama here that, you know what I mean, one of the hardest workers in the vineyard. Just coming from another interview, gracious enough to bless us with her time and our presence and aura of majesty. Sister Queen Nanny, please introduce yourself.
Greetings, Raskwasi. I'm not seeing myself. Are you seeing me?
Yes, I see the eye clearly.
Okay, give thanks for that. Yes, greetings to the eye and to the entire Rastafari family that you are building.
Yes.
And that is growing. Give thanks for that, you know. So here I am. Give thanks. Give thanks indeed.
Okay. So I want to just jump straight into the topic. As I said, if you want to get Sister Nanny history, her time living in Africa, and all of those things that are happening, please just go forward and watch the episode, and we will get Ras Daniel. So we're not going to go into their individual history as we usually do on the platform. However, I'm going to ask the item to step into our Lion Talk time machine and take us to the lead up. You know, what when we say the Coral Garden Massacre, take us to that time and paint a picture of what took place in Jamaica.
Well, at the time in 1963, things happened. There was an incident that occurred prior to that, because Rastafari have been persecuted, discriminated, marginalized ever since the movement began, you know. So in 1961, around about that time, the Brethren there was a particular group of brothers. Some say that they were not Rastafari, really, but some say that they were Rastafari sympathizers, based upon the action that they took you know, as a result of that. But anyway, it is what it is. The Babylon identified them as Rastafari, and therefore you know, tried to discriminate and marginalize them. So they were farming in the hills in close to Rosehall Estate in St. James. Now, at that time, it was the tourism industry was a fledgling industry. It was young, just being encouraged, you know, by the powers that be. And so they had the idea that if Rastafari were to take up or occupy that region, it would be a detriment to the growth of the tourism industry. So it is in the Rosehall area that they were farming, just close to the estate. And every year, the overseer would call the police, you know, and the police would come, reap what they want to reap, burn the rest, and tell them to that they were squatters and to get off the land. Now, on this occasion, the third occasion, you know, the police came. And what I'm going to describe to you now is an account of a policeman. So it is not even, you know, it is from the horse's mouth, then, put it that way.
Okay.
And the policeman said that he went there because he was called by the overseer and Car Jarrett to give the people an eviction order, the brethren, an eviction order. And so he was there just to prevent whatever might develop a frack or anything. So he said he went there and he described in great detail all that he saw on the farm.
Yes.
And he was so impressed because his father is a farmer, was a farmer at the time in Portland. And he said he was so impressed with what he saw. And he pointed out that he did not find any ganja, whether in growing form or in cured form. But he described all the crops, everything. And he said that he turned to the overseer and the other policeman who was there with him and volunteered to intervene on behalf of the farmers. And he said that he would go to Carjaret the following day and try to give them for them to give permission to the farmers to reap their crops before they would be evicted. And he said that they listened to him and they all departed from the area. Well, he used the word unbeknownst. That's a strange word, you know. Unbeknownst to him, they went back to the farm, and so he was not there when they went back. But what happened is that the Rudolph Franklin, who is the leader of the group, you know, he was shot in the stomach and left for dead.
Oh,
and
wow.
the police realized that he was not dead. They took him to the hospital in Montego Bay. He was operated on and sewn up. The stomach was sewn up, but the doctor warned him that when the plastic that he used to sew up the stomach would start to rot, he would shortly die. And so after the operation, the police took him, trumped up some charges of possession of ganja and resisting arrest, and he was charged and sent to prison. Now, while in prison, the stomach, of course, started to rot, and so they let him out now at that time. So he came back into the Montego Bay area, and he vowed vengeance that he would take his own, you know. They say vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, but he planned this in a very detailed manner. So he by 19, so that I told you that that incident took place when Rudolph Franklin was shot in 1961.
Okay.
Jamaica got its independence in 1962.
Yes.
And it was in 1963 that Rudolph decided to exact his own vengeance, and he made some his own weapons, you know, spears he made, and all, you know, he dressed up in the cow skin so that he would the bullets couldn't penetrate, and then he went to the Coral Gardens gas station, burned it down. Then they went to seek the overseer. They went and that used to call Fowler was his name. That used to call it on him. They chopped him up, and the police was called. I'm just giving a brief.
Yes. No, this is important history. When we talk about Coral Gardens, we want to set the context. We are an educational platform, and every Rastafari around the world should know. We're also going to be looking at the Dreadlock in Dominica. We're going to be looking at some of these other atrocities that took place, because it's important for young people in particular to know that Rastafari, although we're not out of the woods yet, you know what I mean, we're coming from much darker days. And the elders who you see there look so meek, you know, the courage that they manifested and what they went through to preserve the integrity of this tribe, we have to memorialize and celebrate every year, so that we tell our own story. So continue.
Yes, so I was at the point where the police was called, and the police, you know, they made a serious mistake of not having bullets in their guns. And so when they pointed at Rudolph and he discovered that they didn't have bullets, then he charged on them with his cutlass, and some of them were chopped up. One of them died, and at the end of the incident, 8 persons died, including Rudolph and some of his accomplices.
Okay.
Now, that was the Thursday, what they call Holy Thursday in the Christian calendar. And the following day now, the Prime Minister at the time, Bustamante, he came to Montego Bay, and all the security forces or everybody, made a big scene because this was the first time that this kind of violence was that they had experienced this kind of violence. Though I still need to emphasize that Rudolph was killed, 2 of his accomplices killed in the incident, 2 of them ran away, and by the following day they were rounded up. So by the time when Bustamante declared that the security forces should bring in all bearded men, dead or alive, and I'm quoting now the survivors who say that they heard him say that if the jail in Barnet can hold them, then the cemetery would. Right.
Famous words, yes.
Yes, and all the police stations in Western Jamaica were rammed. They were overcrowded. It was a standing room in the cells with all the rounding up that took place.
So it was collective punishment.
Collective punishment. Innocently, people were experiencing this because most of these, if not all, persons who were caught in that dragnet didn't even know the word Coral Gardens. The incident with Rudolph happened in Coral Gardens, and they didn't even know where that is. But they were brutalized. Some were killed, badly beaten, locks chopped off. All the personal harm that one could think of. So that is what we call the Coral Gardens atrocities. That is what took place for months after the incident. Island-wide, every Rastafari camp was raided and razed to the ground, burnt out. Persons who they saw there were beaten, taken to jail, trumped up charges put on them, sent to prison, some of them, and that all of those kinds of atrocities that they faced. So that is what the survivors. There are still a few survivors who we have. When we say we are in close connection with, and we have as a benevolent society now advocated for the government to apologize. Now, as a benevolent society, we have worked with the Rastafari community. It is not only the benevolent society that did this work. It is, and we have to really big up our community for, uniting behind the whole need for and demand for an apology and for compensation to the survivors. So here we are, 62 years after those atrocities were meted out, and every year the Benevolent Society, in continuation, because this commemoration started from the 1990s when with Junior Manning he was he spearheaded the call, and he's now passed on. So the Rastafari community continues with the Benevolent Society to highlight, commemorate, remember, lest we forget the atrocities that took place and the dire poverty and humiliation, traumatization of the survivors who are still alive. They look forward to coming to the commemoration to talk about their experiences, to give their testimonies. And this is really, what the commemoration is about. Honoring them. We do a banquet for them, treating them to a 3-course meal. And other elders in the community are also, invited to sit with our survivors. And they give their testimonies. And it is really, an emotional experience, but one that gives real freedom to their spirit for to be able to speak of it and to meet up with each other, who went through the atrocities.
Give thanks, give thanks. Ras Daniel, give us a little bit of history on the Rastafari Coral Garden Benevolent Society. How it was established, and what the I role has been. As a younger second generation Rastafari, what attracted the eye to the organization.
Yes, I give thanks. Yes, sister, and I give thanks to the recall of the history. Our story, our elders' story. Well, I wasn't originally from Montego Bay, so it was getting a work here and move to the city. Still living in one kind of countryside outside of the city still. Yes, sir, but in St. James. So I came to Montego Bay and draw close to Rastafari, because they were brother and sister and mother and father. So finding a bingy grounds, we find the elders them and hear about it was the Karagan Society at that time. Right, Sister Nanny?
It was the Rastafari Coral Gardens Committee
Committee.
before it became a benevolent society.
Yes, give thanks. Yes, I. So I joined up actually in 2017. Saw ones like Sister Nanny, Bongo Brown, Rasaika, some vibrant ones. I would always see them at Bingy, So I got drawn to the whole history, spoke with some of the elders, and feel so compassionate about even volunteering my time and effort in getting the justice what was delayed.
Yeah, and it's important that we acknowledge that the work came out of the Nyabing girls, because Aista J, who I knew too, you know what I mean, and the other ones, we have to big up the elders who were there
Yes, sir.
from early as well. When it was a committee,
Yes, sir.
because the Nyabing girls has always been on that front line for the justice,
Yes, sir.
in the movement. So, definitely big up the Nyabing girls, at their Pit 4 family, as well. So in terms of the benevolent society though, and we'll get the eye sound as well, Sister Nani as one of the early pioneers. But in terms of the benevolent society, because I'm very interested as a young Ras, because we don't have the engagement of our youthful, and when I say youthful, me I talk I and I age, because I and Ras Daniel probably close in age. We're adults still, but you know what I mean? We don't see that many ones within our age range active in organizations. What made the I, what was it about the benevolent society that made the I say, I'm going to sacrifice my time to really do this work?
Yes, sir. Give thanks. So back in the community where I grew up, we were like the only Rasta family. So you never see so much Rasta, no Rasta youth. Most of the Rastas will be held over with our faith. Be like a man from a youth, that's see with the reads with the elder, from the community days, brothers and so. But for bridgings round about and family, but in terms of Rastafari, it's actually when I came to Montego Bay, I saw a wider family and I feel a connection. So from my youth days, I always want to play a great role in my movements because being through some of the persecution as a youth, go through school and everything other Rasta youth. Them time there was rough, You have to have a focus or,
Yes.
Yeah, so honestly, I always wanted to play a great role. So started just as a member, I heard about the welfare where we go visit the elders them and, bring liquor, a little thing for them and take care of them, clean up them place, Yeah, man, was really interested from there to and see the works where the ones doing, you know. So I never miss another meeting from that, and the ones see the interest, you know.
Yes,
And tell she always can call and there as a young one, you know. Yes, I. So them see the interest and see the potential, and I was given the position of assistant chair, and I've been in that position for a while, you know.
give thanks.
Yes, I. And we know the whole world went through the COVID pandemic, and you know that was setback or delay or what would I call it, you know. Yeah, man. But we are picking up and you know gearing up, and as there I say, I just want to motivate more youths down through the age group and even younger, you know, to see the cause and see the reason and the, you know,
Mm-hmm.
come join up and help push forward the mission.
Yes, and when we say youth, we have to clarify because I'm very rebellious. You know, I consider youth under 20,
Yes, I.
and anything from 20 to 40, me say is adult, young adult, and then 40 to 60 is mature adult. You know.
Yes, I. We
So,
need the adults them to far
yeah, man,
because
all of the adult them, Ras, them need for forward.
give thanks.
We can't expect the elders them to run on the back of field and a jump and a kid poop a liquor and roll, and we can't expect that from an elder. You know what I mean? If them
So
do that, we give thanks for that, but to expect that is cruel. So I have to step up now and carry the baton
that,
to build
that
these institutions.
that is it. And I always hear the I say, you know, the elders play their part, you know.
They play their
We,
part when the
we,
history right. They're not gonna be the ones in problems, you know.
yes,
Cause
sir.
as I say, I go Ghana in a some bush and I see the little youth them run out and say, Ja,
Right,
Rastafari, you know what I mean? That is not I man work that do that, you know what I mean?
right.
That are these elders who go through great tribulation that the entire world, you know what I mean, marvel and the word sound spread that the Lion of Judah flag fly on every continent, you know what I mean?
Yes,
That
sir.
was as a result of their works in conjunction with Kadamawi Haile Selassie and Empress Menen. Empress Nanny, Sister Nanny, the I as a pioneer of the Rastafari Coral Garden Benevolent Society, you can fill in some gaps for us in terms of the rising of the committee. We talked about the massacre. Now, in terms of the community action, there I can give us that history as well.
Yes, give thanks, Ras Kwasi, and just before I answer that question, it is
Yes,
really very heartening to hear the discussion about the need for the youths
yes,
because that is right where we are at now. You know, yeah, we are at that crossroads where we require input from the youths. You know, and we in order for the continuity of the work of the Benevolent Society. You know, so. I said before that from the 1990s, the community um, led by Esther J have been, you know, highlighting the Coral Gardens atrocities. It was at first called the Coral Gardens Agitation Committee.
okay,
Then over you know a couple of years it morphed into because you know changes have taken place. Junior Manning passed on,
yes,
and that movement became dormant for a while, and then other brethren took it up like Ras V. He was
yes,
on
pick up Ras IRV,
he was
yes.
the chair of the Rastafari Coral Gardens committee now, and
Mm-hmm.
there were other members of the you know from the Bingy House, Bongo Joe.
Yeah,
Um,
big up Bongo Joe,
Yes, Congo money. You know, there are there.
yes, all the Naya Bingi
Sometimes,
family then.
yes, you know. So I don't want to call some and leave out some because
When you
sometimes.
start calling name, that will happen, you know,
Yes,
and the man
yes,
feel away. Oh, the man,
right,
you know,
right.
you just have to,
Yes, but just to acknowledge, you know, some of the
yeah,
individuals
man,
as
no,
well as acknowledging the wider community, because
simple.
they So while we sat and deliberated, because all along the call has been for the government to recognize that these were atrocities against the community and that there needs to be some apology. And even as a result of the 1963 incident, the law for possession of ganja became more intense, more strict, stronger laws were put in place that it became mandatory. So the judges did not have any choice now. But if someone came before them for possession of ganja, then it was mandatory for imprisonment. So all of these laws came in because, again, a reaction to the Rastafari movement and trying to suppress it, you know. And so the community has undergone some serious discrimination. Children not able to go to school, the workplace Rastafari was not welcomed in any employment. You would have to. You have to
stick a pin, Sister Nanny, because for some of my audience, this is astonishing, especially in Africa, where they think that Jamaica is Rastafari land. So when you're telling people now that the government of Jamaica is preventing Rastafari children from attending school who are persecuting Rastafari, this is shocking to many people around the world. And these elders could never imagine that every hotel, when you go at the gift shop, you would just see red, gold, and green and all the Rastafari symbols and things being used to promote brand Jamaica when they were being so persecuted. So I just want to paint that picture because I know a lot of the audience globally outside of the Caribbean is saying, what are you saying? You know, how can the government be against Rastafari? Explain that animosity, Sister Nanny, that
yes,
existed.
It is the bottom line is that the Rastafari philosophy is Afrocentric, and in the colonial past, we were being brainwashed with Eurocentric point of view of life. You know, a white Jesus. The everything good is white and everything bad is black, and so when the Rastafari rise up and giving this kind of philosophy now that I can't forget. One day I was walking as a child, maybe about 9 years old, and I saw a Rastaman and he said, "I art God," and so the Rastafari community was vilified. Them said, "A madman," and the government said that you're of the lunatic. I can't forget that that even Norman Manley referred to the Rastafari community as the lunatic fringe. So the elders were considered mad, not to be a part of the society. When the time of Rudolph and so on, when they are traveling, they would have to walk in the back bushes. They wouldn't walk on the main road, walk through gully, and just to get to where you are going, you have to take that kind of route because you eat every time a policeman see a Rastaman, you're going to be some, for example, I went to just one of our survivors recently passed, and I went to his funeral, and his niece got up and was talking about his life, and she told us that whenever he was riding down the road and he see a policeman or even hear that one is coming, you have to jump off the bicycle, find a bush somewhere to camouflage himself before he come back out on the road. And so that was the experience, day-to-day liberty of Rastafari,
A lot of youths talk about the gully side and they don't know that Rastafari were the original people used to have to live on the gully banking walk on gully side. All of these things are things where our elders had to live as their daily experience. Walk from Kingston to Jamaica, no bus not take you nowhere. You know what I mean? They used to walk, stop, rest, and you know what I mean, walk through train line. All of these things, they were living an ancient liberty, you know what I mean? It really forced upon them that anciency because they couldn't have access. You know, one of the elders told I the first time enough of them ever were let into a public building is when the king himself came, you know,
Yes.
and opened that gate. You know, the king himself is the one who opened those doors in Jamaica. And it was such a power because, you know, one of the things Jamaica people used to say is, your God now come, you know what I mean? And they used to cuss people, say, a foolishness them will talk. So when His Majesty came, and not only came, but gave the leaders of the movement gold medals and opened King's House and all of these tapanaris places that these people who are living in the slums, you know what I mean? When you talk about Bakawal, you talk about a dump site. I don't know if people really understand what we are saying, Sister Nanny. You know what I mean? When you
Yes.
talk about some of the early campsites, these were the untouchables in India. You know, these are the places they had to make their camps where nobody would trouble them, where nobody would go. You know, the elders told me they had hog and rat and roach and them thing there, and they had to just clean up the place and, you know, make it as a palace, turn a tattoo to a palace, you know, our elder Rasiris used to say. You know, because when you go a Rastafari place, him said not even a speck of dust, you know, the way them sweep up the floor and have the place immaculate in the dump site, you know, them do these things. So I just want to paint a picture because, again, the picture that comes to the global mind when they hear Rastafari is beaches and a man on this white sea and
Yeah.
flashing locks and, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Him having big spliff, and that's not the reality for most of the ones who are struggle to put food on their tables, you know what I mean? But continue, Sister Nanny.
Yeah, so you had asked me about the transition from the
Yes.
earth to the benevolent society. So the as a as at the point where the group called themselves Rastafari Choral Gardens Committee, that is when I joined the work. I knew about the work before that, but at that time, you know, being involved in you know, work at the workplace and so on. But by then I had retired and was able to give some time to the work. And so while we were there planning now to really march, because we had to do a lot of marches and mobilization of the community, um, uh, appearing on interviews on the radio and television, just to inform the public about our movement and what the elders have gone through. And we said to ourselves that we need to register an organization so that we'll be taken seriously by the government. And so we had a good period of time discussing what form of organization we would you know take on, and we eventually decided on a benevolent society because that is the kind of work that we were doing. As Daniel told you, we were visiting the elders, seeing them even as elders, living with their families. They were, you know, they were
Marginalized.
put in marginalized same way, put in the back room, and you know, food would be given to them. And if you visit them, you would see like
Hundreds of
piles
food
of boxes and old.
room and
Yes, yes, you know.
PhD and certain type of conditions too, you
Yes,
know.
terrible conditions they were living in, you know. So we said, okay, um, while we don't have that much money, but because the thing is that as a member of a benevolent society, you pay dues. The dues that we is a minimal amount of money, $100 per week. So that doesn't go very far in assisting the elders. So we started to march and we started to agitate more consistently. Before, the agitation would take form like at commemoration time. But now we started to work round the clock, you know. writing letters to the government and so on. So we say, okay, we have to register an organization. And so we sat down, went through a constitution from scratch, and we applied to the Department of Cooperatives and Friendly Societies, which is what that government body that supervises benevolent societies. And we got registered, and the registration, we got registered on the 23rd of April 2015. And so we say, okay, we are now ready now to take on take it to the government now. And so we have been writing letters. We have our board of management, and we write letters, we agitate, we march, we do petitions, we have village meetings. We went around the island doing meetings out of our own pockets. As I say, we don't have any money really to use. And all of that, whenever we have marches, the community would come out to support us. And we wrote to the government telling them that we are going to march in Kingston now, because we've been marching all around. But now we say we're going to take it to them right in Garden House and right to Jamaica, right, straight up at Jamaica House. And so we informed them that we are going to march, and they apparently didn't take us seriously. But when we were on that final march in March of 2017 with a newly elected administration, but prior to that though, the administration, the newly elected administration came in 2016, and we had a meeting with them at Jamaica House. We met with members, what they call an ad hoc committee of the cabinet. So we met with them and we gave them because they were not properly informed about what really took place, the history of Coral Gardens and the atrocities that ensued. So we informed them about it. We presented to them a 13-point list of recommendations. The first being that the government should apologize and then pay compensation to the survivors. And then we had a list of reparations, demand for reparations for the community, because it is the community that was targeted. Individual Rastafari who got caught were just like incidental, but it is the community that was really being targeted for extinction. So we said that the community and the children couldn't go to school, the health services are not available to you in any comfortable way. You go to get services from any state agency, and you face abuse, you face discrimination. So we asked for land for agricultural purposes, and several other reparation recommendations. And after that, we heard nothing from the government. We kept on writing to them. And then we said, okay, we're going to march in Kingston. So it was in March of 2017 that we decided to march. And it was close to the commemoration again. And it was during that march that we got a call from the Minister of Culture saying that the government, yes, Daniel, drumming and all of that, yeah.
Yeah, there was that march, Ras Daniel.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So from a young adult perspective, all the march did state.
I give thanks for your support from the family from that side, because they really came out in numbers, Yeah, man. And
how many people are we talking about? 50 people?
No, man. That's about over 100 or hundreds if we can really count when we got secular Mandela Park.
Yes, because the march culminated in Mandela. We started from downtown.
Okay.
And we went to Marcus Shrine and have a nice chanting there the same way, and steal up Mandela Park. Yes, sir. It was great,
So by the time Mandela part now, that was when we heard that the Prime Minister
Yes,
had
sir.
offered an apology.
And I love to go up, I saw a victory,
Yes. So that was the start of the, at least we broke that.
Yes, sir.
But as I say, the wider community, even the journalists, they assisted, because every time they would meet upon because all of our exposure on the news, they would ask them, when are you going to apologize? So they were really kind of cornered,
Yes.
And so since the apology, 2017 apology, the government, at the same time when Prime Minister offered the apology, announced that the public defender should go into the area. Now that is the western region, to do a social inquiry of because we had presented at the meeting with the ad hoc committee, we had presented a list of survivors, and so they had a list to begin with, that the public defender should visit the area and visit these people and do a social inquiry report. Now, that was 2017. And it took more than a year before the public defender even did that. Because again, we have to agitate and write letters and, just keep on at it before the public defender would make a move, And we even had a meeting with then Minister of Justice in 2015 to complain about the fact that the public defender is not responding to our letters, And then after that meeting, we got a response, and so the public defender had to prepare, because before even the apology, there was a report from the public defender which came out in 2015, close to the end of 2015, because after all the survivors were brought to and they gave their testimonies to the office of the public defender, we realized that we needed a report to come out, so that on the basis of the report we could push and pressure the government. So the report came out in 2015. We had a meeting in 2016 with the newly appointed government, and in 2017 we got the apology from the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister said that the public defender should come into the area and do a social inquiry report on the survivors. That again, we had to push for, write letters, do interviews, just keep pressuring for that to happen. And eventually that happened, and the report came out. It is on the basis of that report now that the government decided to do the compensation, because when the public defender went out and saw the absolute horrid conditions under which the survivors were living, and the need for the compensation, we had a basis on which to pressure for that to happen. And so
that the station didn't have no history or go back earlier than 87. So all the files were destroyed. So they never have no documentation from the system side.
The police stations and the courthouse and all of that.
Yes. So it couldn't be in terms of compensation if we have all of that compiled,
Yes. And we wonder if it wasn't a deliberate destruction of whatever it is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And that advocacy. First of all, let me just congratulate the Rastafari Call Garden Benevolent Society for the years of work and advocacy on behalf of the Rastafari movement. We cannot say enough how powerful it is. It contradicts the narrative that Rastafari don't do anything with just a smoke ganja and with just a entertain. One of the reasons I created this platform is to challenge that narrative and to show the world that work has always been happening. Rastafari is a resistance movement, a Pan-African resistance movement, and at the tip of the spear when it comes on to equal rights and justice. And when we hear about the Rastafari Korgan Benevolent Society and the work, it validates that this is not just, a talk shop. This is not just a happy-go-lucky or a hippie movement. This is a movement for freedom, redemption, black liberation, and the IDEM have been at the forefront of that in Jamaica. And I really want to just congratulate the IDEM and to give the IDEM sativa flowers. I take that from dreadlocks. Dreadlocks. One, give the IDEM sativa flowers for the powerful works them with the IDEM do, because I don't think we take enough time to congratulate each other. Yes, and sir. To also, we're quick to find the flaw, but we need to change around the culture that we celebrate the ones who have put in the work, so congratulations on that work. But I think that this led to one of the most embarrassing moments in Jamaica history, because when you continue the story and say what the government offered as compensation, the first offer, I think this is one of the low points in Jamaica's history since independence. So continue the story and let me just prepare the people for these shocking numbers we're about to hear. Continue, Sister Nanny.
Well, the public defender's report, the 2015 report, recommended that the survivors should get no less than $1 million. And that was a kind of group offer. That wouldn't be to one person, but to the survivors as a group. So
hold on there. Stick a pin for the US people. Them that's like $10,000. I just want the item overstand. When you hear $1 million, it's not so bad. But when we do the translation for a group of survivors that went through these atrocities, the government of Jamaica came with a number of 10,000 US currency for the group. I mean, it really is a stain on the history of Jamaica, But continue.
Yes, well, you see, because but Daniel pointed out a little earlier, was the fact of the destroyed records.
Okay.
So there would be we could not approach the court system because there was no record to support our case. So we had to, remain in the court of public opinion and pressure, for a better offer, because when that was put, when the government announced what the public defender's recommendation was, any thinking person could realize that it's just an insult. Yes, so we said, okay, that is just rubbish going on there. And again, we had to go another round of agitation, advocacy to get them to move. And they eventually offered 100 million or 102 million to be put in a trust fund. At that time, we said, okay, that is not a lot, but it is better than 1 million. And the survivors are passing on, so it would suit us to accept that offer. So we had a community meeting at the Night Building Center where we called all the Rastafari community to participate in decision making. The survivors themselves were also represented. They were there and their families and so on. And it was agreed that we would accept that offer. And so it was that amount was put in a trust fund called the Rastafari Coral Gardens Trust Fund. And the amounts that are paid out on a monthly basis go straight into the survivors' accounts. So the Benevolent Society does not handle the funds, because initially we had to spend a lot of time explaining to the community and otherwise that we are not the recipients of the fund, of the amount of the money. it is going straight into the survivors' accounts on a monthly basis. So it assists them with their medical expenses and whatever little household. Initially, they were getting, each survivor was getting 100,000 Jamaican dollars per month. The trust fund over time was depleted, so more was added to the trust fund over time. So in all, really, the survivors, the trust fund has received much more than 102 million dollars. At one point, 12 million was put in again. Each time the funds seem to get low, we write letters to the Ministry of Culture appealing for them to put more, because we point out that if the survivors do not get these funds on a monthly basis, they would just simply revert to the poor living conditions under which they were living before the trust fund.
Yes.
So this is happening. Some of them, they are getting less than that now, because the fact is that there are 4 tiers. The survivors have been divided into 4 tiers based upon the level of injury that each one receives. So those who were imprisoned for a long time and received were badly beaten, get a little bit more than those who really just ran away to the bushes and hid for a while, even though they were starving while hiding. So it is another kind of
Another thing, when they were in the bushes, their places got vandalized. If they had crops, house, everything,
Indeed.
got vandalized. When they come back, they lose that too,
There's nothing to come back to.
They come back, animals, everything gone.
Everything gone. Yes.
Destabilization.
Yes. Even to this day, that kind of destabilization is affecting.
Still affect us.
Yes. Because they have not been able to get back on their feet. So, and now they are much older, so they're not even able to do common labor or work that they would be able to do, or even do their own because as tradesmen, some of them, they lost their tools. They come at no tools. Yeah. So that is the process that we are undergoing, where we also negotiating with the government that they assist you. Ras Kwasi, you mentioned the elder care facility. We in our visits to the survivors, we found that some of them lived alone with no one to take care of them in their old age, And so we pointed that out, and we said that we need to set up an elder care facility, because if we buy one bed and take to one survivor, after he passes on, that bed is gone, and whatever we might have assisted him with would be gone. Whereas if we reason that if we rent a house to put them in, then we, at least assets would would continue for the benefit of others in the future. So we rented a 2-bedroom house, and the government is now paying for the rent and the caregivers and the overhead expenses that the facility is run under. So at least those who, most of them live with their families, and the fact that they are getting money now, the families are a little bit more amenable to taking care of them, but those who did not have caregivers are housed in the elder care home.
Yeah, and it's one of the operational institutions, and we have to big up the Jamaica government for funding. I'm fair in our assessment. Just as we are critical when wrong is done, we have to also acknowledge when good things are being done by the governments. However, I think the community needs to do more. In all things that we're doing right now, we should seek to be self-funded, self-financed. Anything the government gives should be brought up at this point. So that's one of the things that we'll be working toward as we invigorate the community with the rise of Rastafari independent non-aligned media on our various platforms to really rise up that sense of self-determination that Marcus Garvey implanted in the movement from its earliest days. You know what I mean? We have to return to that vibration. It was disrupted by the system. You know what I mean? Leonard Howell had that vibration at Pinnacle.
Mhm.
And from Pinnacle was raided, and that was a ganja raid as well they used at Pinnacle. There has been an era of destabilization that has taken place and persecution. I want, we were talking offline, Ras Daniel, you were saying about your experience as a young youth going to school and how people used to talk to the item.
Yeah, man.
Tell that experience, because I want people to see this continues in the society, this animosity, even up to today.
Yes, sir. You there walk go to school, a little youth, 7-year-old, let's say some big 40-year-old man. Hot leg in the head, dread your comb drop, don't tear the rasta boy, and I mean, once you come behind you at school, pull off your thumb and school laugh and do some little thing to humiliate you, because school say you have to wear your thumb, you come into your leg with your locks and you feel free. You do say, all right, I complain and wear your thumb. Go to school, someone go, hey, good boy, pull off your thumb, you want to fight them, you know? Yeah, so we've been there, we've got through it. But as a youth, I always see Rastafari as a futuristic move, and I always love the speech when His Majesty said become members of a new race. So I know the glory or the crown would come. So he said he who suffers conquers, and in the final result win the crown of victory. So I just give thanks, you know. Through the tribulations, we still have good brethren. We are ball the team, a good cousin, we got a river, we play ball, and so we have some friends who are in our community, and we think good, and even when them we go to school now, them kind of draw because they see the persecution we all face, But we go back with our brethren, we go to school and kind of, so my time I say, yo, what do you mean, man, because when we go to school, I have to brave up some of them too, and some of them who brave up, them are Rasta youths right now.
Okay, give thanks. Give
Fire
thanks.
see, eat title and we plant, do everything, camp out when I summer and,
Give thanks, give thanks. Where did I go to high school?
It's a high school called Mushet High School in Trelawney.
Okay.
Yeah, exact,
So there I grew up in a Trelawney, because my mother family is from Trelawney too,
Yes, I'm from Bunkazil, you have Wakefield.
Okay. My family is from Alberton.
Okay, well, we know that side same way, because I've been forestry and been right around the cockpit country,
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
So that is where I'm on mother family side forward from, the Alberton.
Yes,
so we love Trelawney. But these are things that I want to really just clarify, because again, if you're not living in the Caribbean, you don't realize that the persecution was heaviest. Jamaica is seen as the birthplace of the Rastafari movement, and the persecution there is the heaviest, even up to today. Again, we still get reports of children cannot go to school, and things that are happening. In terms of the challenges, because you talked about the 13 demands that were made, Sister Nanny. Talk about those, some of those demands, and what the situation is today, and what is the work of the Benevolent Society today.
Yes, give thanks for that, because as you said that we should big up the government for what they have done so far.
Yes.
And I in every interview or anything, I speak clearly that the government paid the compensation. We were not totally satisfied with the quality of the kind of apology that was given, but we said, okay, let's look past that. Because the main reason that why we had a problem with the apology that the government gave, the Prime Minister gave, was that he apologized specifically for the events that took place. Now listen carefully. He apologized for the events that took place in Coral Gardens on the April 11 and April 12 of 1963. So really, we have not received any apology for what took place as a result of those incidents. The months of
months after
and years that continue.
Years after.
You know that that may have been a legalistic way of
limit the liability, limit the you know, I'm an attorney, so
yes. So
that was a carefully crafted statement.
Yeah, we recognize that we but we say anyway, all right. So you apologize. Whatever it is, you know. Now let's move on now to compensation, you know. And so we pressured for the trust fund to be set up and the survivors to be compensated. And also, what was not in the 13-point recommendation was the setting up of the elder care facility, which the government did, because after one officer from the Ministry of Culture took a tour of the area and visited the elders in their where they were living, they really saw the terrible conditions under which these elders were living. So they because in the beginning they were pushing back at our request, but when they saw for themselves, they said, "Oh yes, you know, we really need to support this." So give thanks again to Minister Grange and her team for doing that. Now, in terms of the reparations for the community, we asked for scholarships for the Rastafari children at different levels, knowing that and recognizing the fact that the children have been not able to go to school properly. And so this would be one way of, you know, compensating, redressing, reparations for those abuses that, just like what Daniel described to you, because most of the children, most of the parents did not even bother to send their children to school to face those abuses. You know, they would just stay at home and homeschool them, or if they are able to, because their parents, some of them were not at a good educational level to do that. And so the bringing up these children under poverty because you're not able to get good jobs, without schooling, and so it is really developing a cycle of poverty. And so it's okay. One way of redress is to give some scholarships to Rastafari children at the primary, secondary, and tertiary level. The other thing that we sought as a redress was land for agricultural purposes, because the Coral Gardens incident arose out of the rural farming on lands that they claim belonged to Car Jarrett, and the dispossession of the community with not being able to work to buy land and all of that. So we said give some land to the community for agricultural purposes. We also sought to get some rights entrenched in the system. For example, we say that the government should recognize the Rastafari holy days, so that, you know, they are not discriminated in terms of even those who attend school could be able to go to an Ayabingi on a given time or so on, you know. That the government should also address the labor laws and the discrimination at the workplace in respect of the wearing of locks and beard, and also the wearing of locks in schools, and the vaccination, the vaccination, or the fact that they are that Rastafari, the community itself does not is healthy in terms of we don't recognize the vaccination, that we don't see a need to vaccinate our children, and you know, so those are the things that we ask for. Cultural preservation to assist us with in terms of writing the proper history of the movement, and teaching it in schools in a proper and official way. And so those are some of, as I recall from memory, the other reparations that we requested. Now, the government in 2018 Minister Grange stood up in Parliament and announced that they were going to give us 3 scholarships, that is the community now, 3 scholarships for the youths, 2 lots of land in Albion, one for a permanent elder care facility, and the other for the office of the Rastafari Choral Garden Benevolent Society, which we know we would be using to set up museums and cultural, pass on cultural information within the community, and also to others because whenever students in schools are doing research on the Rastafari movement, they would come to the brethren and ask for information. So we say we would want to set up an information center that would be that they could come to get information on Rastafari and the liberty and the culture and so on. So that was announced. We would get land for agriculture, we would get scholarships, and we would get those 2 lots of land in Albion, on which we had our commemoration last year. But it was just an announcement. Nothing has been done since that. And for one, it is not for want of writing letters and pressuring and interviews and all of that. In fact, last year, the minister of the member of parliament for the area, Dr. Chang, he came at the commemoration and promised that the deeds for those 2 lots of land would be handed over by June of last year.
Okay.
And to date, we are not hearing anything. Now it is total silence now.
Wow.
So that, So we have not really received any reparations, any justice for the community, the wider community, so that we can assist in the building of a foundation for the community. When Prince Hermias was here, Minister Grange announced in his presence at the elder care facility that she would be working on the land and that they would assist to build a permanent elder care facility. And I'm quoting her now, not only for the survivors, but for the wider Rastafari community. But of course, that promise, it remains a promise, And so we are still agitating. It is not that we can't be, because as they are criticized that you can't, the Rastafari community is never satisfied. We gave a 13-point list of recommendations, and if 3 of those points are fulfilled, we still consider it our duty as a benevolent society to continue the agitation for the reparations to the community. As I always keep saying, it is the community that was targeted for extinction. The individual persons were just, by ill luck, caught in the dragnet. But it is the community that they were hoping to wipe out. And so we are still here, and we are still asking for redress, a balance, And if you have made a promise, I think you should try to keep it.
Definitely. And we are here, if you're just joining us, with Sister Nanny and Ras Daniel of the Rastafari Choral Garden Benevolent Society. We're talking about the Choral Garden massacre. There is also a massive event coming up to commemorate this, the 10th anniversary. We're going to talk about that event shortly. If you have any questions for our guests, put it in the comment section. We are interactive family. You know how we do it here. All my Lion Pride on Patreon. Check in. Let us know where you're watching from. If you're watching live, let us ask questions. You know what I mean? Because this is an active program that's taking place. And I hope that my Rastafari family, in particular in Jamaica, we hear this. And yes, the government have a responsibility, but I hope that this lights a fire within us that we need to fulfill these points with or without any outside assistance. We need to purchase the land collectively. We need to build the facility collectively. Collective work days. We have all of the skills and the capital in Jamaica within the Rastafari community to do it. What we lack is the will and the unity do that. So yes, we're not gonna let the government off the hook, you know. But while we agitate, let us do for self. This is my prayer for our community, you know what I mean, self-determination. So again, if you have any questions, family, put it in the comment section. Also, if you're watching live, let us know where you're watching from. We have 1 and 2 family checking in. We have Everton Watson checking in from Jamaica. Blessed love, Sister Nanny. Much respect to the Lions Voice Network. Who's that? How you pronounce that? Scripture. Yes, big up yourself, Scripture. Rastafari, blessings, greeting Rastafari, live, good topic, brethren. Still vexed about the Coral Gardens. Can't forget. How can we forget Mama Ebony? You know what I mean, with them do us, you know what I mean, and they want it swept under the rug, you know what I mean? So we're not gonna go there, but we are gonna continue while we're telling our own story to tell that story here on the Lion Voice Network. So again, just big up the item for the works, and we're gonna give people some information how they can support the work of the Benevolent Society. I know if you're in Jamaica, you can become a member of the Benevolent Society, and they're calling our young adults, our mature adults, become more active. You know what I mean? If you're a Rastafari youth, find out how you can be active as well. But we need people to stop sitting on the sideline and criticizing and finding faults, and to become active. The only way we're going to improve and build that power and respect is by doing for ourselves. You know, any other way, if we're waiting on charity, then we're delusional. I have to talk hard to my people. If we're waiting on people to feel sorry for us, we're delusional. You know what I mean? The only thing these entities respect is power. And that power comes from coming together, creating our economic base, and working together to do the things that need to get done, you know what I mean, for the elders and for the children. Hold on, let us pull up this flyer for the coming event. Let my producer pull up this flyer, and I want the item explain about this event and what is happening, what is taking place, and why the people need to support this event.
Yes, we're having this commemoration on the 18th, Bad Friday, we call it, because it was not a good Friday for Rastafari. Some that it was crucifixion for Rastafari.
Yes.
So we're having this event, and it gates open at 11 o'clock. The venue is Walter Fletcher Beach, next to Harmony Beach Park. The gates will open at 11 a.m. We will have activities for children during the day. It's a day and night event. We will have activities for children, workshops in drumming, craft, storytelling, yoga, the likes, you know, just to entertain, educate our youths. So the family is invited to, you know, you come and bring your children. There will be a Rastafari museum open from early to showcasing the testimonies of the survivors, those who have passed, and the statements that they gave to the public defender. So we have memorialized them in that form where their pictures are put up and what their statements were. And also there will be information about general Rastafari history. So we call it a Rastafari museum. We are building. You know, we started 2-3 years ago at each commemoration, and we are growing. You know, we are building. It was really very heartening to see the response last year. When they went into the museum, everybody was there taking pictures and asking questions, and we got a really good live response from the patrons who came. So the museum will be opened as well. And as I say, it's growing, and we that is what we intend to do when we have some permanent location, to build a real good historical Rastafari museum. Then we will have the official opening at 1 a.m. with drumming and chanting from the School of Vision, and the elders, the survivors, will give their testimonies of what they experienced during 1953. After that, we will have the banquet for elders, for the survivors and other elders in our community, treated to a 3-course meal. And then we will have a speakers forum. The speakers forum, well, myself will be talking about we're giving a 10-year review on the Benevolent Society and our activities. Sister Kerida McDonald, before that, Dr. Michael Barnett will be speaking on the Pinnacle atrocities and the need for reparations, because right now even the Howellites, we still have Howellites living in Shadiga Park,
Yes.
under real poverty-stricken conditions, So that still needs to be addressed, the atrocities that took place at Pinnacle. So
Yeah.
Dr. Barnett, who is a member of the Leonard Percival Howell Foundation, he will be talking on that, and he's also a member of the National Council on Reparations. And then he will be followed by Dr. Marcus Goff, who will be speaking about giving a review of the 10 years. It is 10 years now since the sacramental rights were given to Rastafari in the amendment of the so-called Dangerous Drugs Act.
Yes.
So he will be giving a review on that, looking at examining really what are the benefits that have redounded to the community, and what is still yet to be done in terms of full sacramental rights to the Rastafari community. Dr. Kerida McDonald will be speaking about the need for a Rastafari Act. Because what we are saying is that we need these rights to be entrenched in the Constitution, so that the rights, the human rights, and the constitutional rights of the Rastafari community and its members should be entrenched, so that no future government or administration can interfere with that. So that is where we are looking, and it might seem a tall order, but then it was a tall order in those early days of the Benevolent Society. Even some of my friends would kind of laugh at me to say, you think the government going to apologize, and you think this and you think that. Well, it has happened, and so we without that desire and that focus, we would not achieve anything. So we are looking at getting the Rastafari rights entrenched in the Jamaican Constitution. So Dr. Kerida McDonald will be addressing that. Ras Ige will be talking about the need for the declaration of a Rastafari month, and he will be justifying that in his talk about he is really proposing that April be considered Rastafari month, and he has a lot of justifications for that. So he will give those justifications. So the speakers forum should be interesting. There's the possibility for persons to discuss with the question and answer period for the patrons to participate in the discussions. After the speakers forum, we will have a Rastafari fashion show that is will be courtesy of Empress Samantha of School of Vision.
Yes, big up Empress Samantha, former Pulse model, super maga. You think we're not super maga in a Rastafari, them wrong.
Of course, it's our culture, we're giving exposure to the styles and the African origins of these styles, and information there as well. And after the that we will have the cultural presentation, we call it, because when you say a stage show, people looking at dance hall and all of that thing, but all of these artists that you see on the flyer are really coming out with positive lyrics,
Yes.
for the upliftment of the community. And so we have Mutabaruka, who will be there throughout the day. At different interludes will be spinning on his black music, giving the selections and you know, doing his own style of DJ business. And
Yes.
there are some of the artists I will name a few. There are quite a
Yes.
the DYCR will be there doing poetry and is really very entertaining. Rastakura as well doing poetry.
Yes.
Nature Ellis, a very great performer, he's there as well. Rankin Pumpkin, to name a few of the females. Nana EQ, and you know, many Jarangs, Mackie Conscious, Major Lloyd, and many more. I So Strong, who is a member of the Benevolent Society, also will be performing his conscious lyrics, and many more. You know, Changa Changa. if persons know about Changa Changa, will be there as well. So it's a day and night event. We want the community to bring out the family, to support the Benevolent Society, in as we try to. We always try to raise funds. This is our only fundraiser for the year, the commemoration. We try to raise funds. So it is $1,000 for entry. It is not a lot. It is compared to the expenses of putting on the event. It is just a contribution we are really asking of $1,000.
Yes.
And the craft booths, item, food on sale, refreshments. So it will be a day of entertainment, education, and upliftment.
Okay. Scripture said, I, Scripture, will be forwarding to lend my voice in word, sound, and power in poetic form in the cultural presentation segment. Bless up, big up yourself, Scripture.
Scripture.
Yes. And I big up all of the Rastafari creatives that support community events. You know, my respect for the item are the maximum. So anytime these artists are ready for them Lion Voice interview, just come link with, because we want to support these artists that are giving forward to the community. Very important, you know what I mean, that we lift up these artists that give their time to make these events work, you know what I mean.
Sorry,
Yes,
I neglected to mention the Rastafest, a Rastafest group out of Canada.
okay.
Yes, they will be there as well, you know.
Sister Masani.
Yes. Should not forget.
Yes.
So they will be there in performing in one segment of the show.
Big up Sister Masani and the Rastafest family. It seemed like it's a packed program. The only thing, you know, I have my ear to the streets. The only thing I hear people say is that the flyer focus on the artist too much, and they want some elders and some, you know, more emphasis on the atrocity on the flyer. You know what I mean? How did the item respond to that critique?
Yes, we accept it, you know, because the thing is that you have so many different points of view.
Yes.
And we do accept that. One thing though is that there are others who say that you know, you don't want to be focusing too much on atrocity because because you don't just want to be preaching to the choir.
Yes.
So with the artists, they would attract the younger people, and then by attracting them, then you get them into the venue to educate them.
To
You know,
educate them, yes.
so it is a balance we have to try to find. And yes, I do agree that the flyer really it looks more overwhelmingly like a show. But
Yes.
then, as I say, I justify it by saying, well, we want to attract the younger people, and then when we get them, then we can educate them.
Very, very important to strike the balance, But I am a big supporter. You can take down the flyer now, producer. I want to. My aim is that when the Lion Voice Network is economically strong, that we will be one of the sponsors, that can support with a financial contribution, and also the filming, come down there and be able to film and to share it with the global family. These are the kind of events and why it's important for the family to become part of the Lion Pride and to support the platform so we can give economic strength to these events, and then in exchange we capture the content to share with our family. And one of the biggest things, I'm a promoter as well, one of the biggest challenges that we face with our events is sponsorship. Am I right?
Definitely. And the major sponsor for the event in the past several years has been the Ministry of Culture, Entertainment and Sports. And that is the government again,
Yes. And we
Um,
have to big up Minister Grange, all
yes,
that we critique the government and push them to be better and to excellence. We also definitely give thanks for the work, because in all things, gratitude is a must. You know what I mean? We have to lead with gratitude, but that doesn't mean we're not holding ones accountable to do better. Because I do believe that Jamaica have a place in the history book, as a great nation, potentially, but to live up to that potential, much work needs to be done. I was born in Jamaica, so I now got this, especially now that we're part of the sixth region. We used to say we now give up the continent for your island, but no, we are take the island and we are go for everything on the continent, same way, you know what I mean? Because one family. So we have to push the government of the Jamaica to do better, you know what I mean, to really live up to the high ideals, and to recognize that by strengthening Rastafari, they strengthen Jamaica. Because if the Rastafari community is strong in Jamaica, I can guarantee the scamming are going to go down. The violence and the crime are going to go down. All of these societal ills that are plaguing the domestic violence, this, that, they're going to go down if the Rastafari community is strong and the moral backbone can be reaffirmed within Jamaican society by people seeing healthy, strong Rastafari families, works, farms, businesses. You know what I mean? It's only going to contribute to the social fabric of the society. And we have proof, you know what I mean? Because when Sizzla Kalanja and all of these artists were dominating in the 90s, the crime rate did fall, That was a documented phenomenon if you look at the crime statistics. So Rastafari is a positive factor in the island of Jamaica. We need to amplify that and to communicate that to the government. I want to ask the item, because the Coral Garden Benevolent Society has been a founding member of the Rastafari Mansion and Organization, the RMO, which is the latest effort in an all-mansion, one-voice entity to represent the interests of Rastafari in Jamaica. Talk to us about why the Coral Garden Benevolent Society decided to become a member of the RMO.
well, the Benevolent Society, as I told you, presented to the government a 13-point list of recommendations. And we recognized while drawing up that list is that, as I said, the majority of the recommendations had to do with the community. And if we and the strength of the community has always been the basis on which we succeed, As I said, when it's time for March, the community would come out, you know. So in seeking community reparations, in recognizing the community for what it has contributed and that it was targeted, we listed those most of the recommendations had to do with the community. And if we have a united Rastafari community, we recognize that we would be able to achieve much more in terms of redress and reparations for the community. So it was just you know, a no-brainer, as they would say, for us to be pioneering the unity of the community, so that we are able to get benefits to the community. United we stand, divided we fall. You know, so yes, it was just we looked forward to this kind of movement, and we did play our part in trying to get you know, to get this unity going.
And Ras Daniel, coming from a Rastafari family, you know, how does it feel to the eye, not only being a representative of the Coral Garden Benevolent Society, the Rastafari Coral Garden Benevolent Society, but also now serving as on the treasury for the RMO, you know, bringing the talents and services to the larger Rastafari family. You know, how does that feel for the I as a second generation Rastafari to execute those works, and how has the RMO experience been for the I?
Well, give thanks, Ras Kwasi. Tell you the truth, I really give thanks, you know, to be a part of the RMO and representing the RCGBS, you know. Because we still see, as Sister Nanny said, we see that a bigger cause, you know, for the family unity, you know. We can have this set, because even as a youth growing up, I always just say, oh, we never want to go to Babylon school, you know, we couldn't have one Rasta school on this, or, you know, I never get, well, the immunization thing would have met enough of our brothers now have no birth certificate, you know, nothing to get no farmer TRN, nothing in the system, you know. So with the unity of the RMO, and we set that standard for Rastafari in Jamaica and even worldwide, you know, it's about time. And I always look at 2030 being 100 years, you know, the emperor ascended the throne, and they say it take 100 years to build a nation. So I want to make a contribution in a fair generation, you know. So I'm happy to be a part and to can contribute my time and effort as a second generation. And it's a joy for my mother, father, you know, brothers and sisters, ones who know I same way, you know. You see I actively, you know, doing the works.
And in the history book, because when the history of the movement in Jamaica is written, they're going to look at, you know, who was serving in the different roles, and, you know, the I being one of those pioneer names that they will come across, you know, is very powerful. And as I say, I met the Brethren Queen, so it's a Rastafari family man, and serving. These are the images that we want to show our young people.
And I have to give thanks for my Empress sacrifices, because, you know, every Tuesday night we're on the RM. I tell you, a lot of meat and reasons, you know, and we're up in the same way, even like right now. But we do
we might have to have the wives of the RMO support group, you know. We have
yes, indeed.
For sure, you know.
Yeah, my queen said, "Why you up so late? You know what I mean? At night time, boy, it's rough." But you know, the work has to get done, you know, and
yeah, man. Sometimes road with there, you know, and she see me connect to the Bluetooth, and I'm meeting in a car, see me I drive, you know. So we do give thanks, man, and it's a joy, you know. You know,
yeah, man.
Be a part and to work with the ones them where really have the best interest at heart, because I have 7 of us, I have brothers and sisters, I have nieces and nephews, Rastafari, I see me want to make a way for them, you know?
Definitely. And it's a long road. I know better than anyone. It's not a sprint, you know, it's a marathon.
Yes,
Ethiopia, a long distance runner them, you know. So we have a lot of work to achieve and to accomplish. We are looking forward. What would I like to see, Ras Daniel, in terms of the future of RCBGS?
RCGBS.
Yes.
I always even mention, say I see what benevolent societies can do for your people, because I always use even the Chinese benevolent society as a reference in Jamaica. And we see how they pool their resources together and help each other and chain link in a business and all of these things, So that's what the vision I see for the benevolent society can be, that, that shelter for Rastafari, just like we putting forward and, being a member of the RMO for sure. So we have all mansions in mind. We have Rasta from all corners, all walks of life in mind. No one left behind. So, I like to see, even for this region, yes, sir, we get the elder care facility up and running, and we have office and, get the land space. We can do farming, we can actually pool resources together. We work market days and,
Yeah,
we
man.
elder them, because a lot of ones turning elder now. And we still see this struggle where enough of these ones now have no caretakers, or, some of them not have no youth and so on. So
And it would be good if the elders them can do little gardening,
yes, sir.
vibes, and keep that link there with the land. Not
And
industrial farming, but they can still put them hand in the dirt and
yes, sir.
in there,
I love watch ganja grow like myself. It's a type to watch to see the ganja grow. I know enough of the elders them, can big up ones we pass like Bongo Isaac, one of my elder that and
Yes.
yeah, man, enough of the ones from, I go through the struggle.
Yeah, man. I met Bongo
Kiki.
Isaac. Yeah, man.
Sorry.
What a blessing. Sister Nanny, I'm not seeing the eye, but can we hear the eye? Sister Nanny? All right. You know that sometime we're coming live, family, from St. James, Jamaica. So sometime Wi-Fi the guy will show up in the program and make a star appearance, and you just have to deal with him because I saw him flex, with up on him internet, Wi-Fi the guy will
Say, it remind me, say,
yeah, man. A theme place this, which is why we don't substitute the face-to-face interaction and vibes, and it was a joy to meet the guy in person because we spend so much time on the phone, so it was a joy for even meet the guys in person and see the works. Before we seal up though, tell us about the personal works, because the brethren is here online. They have to go to another meeting. This event is coming up, and the brethren also have a juice business and share with I that whole heap of juice preparation. And as a brethren who used to do events and used to make juice too,
yes,
I know exactly what is in front of this brethren right now when him come off of that car. Yeah. You know what I mean? Tell the people about your juice business and what you're anticipating, the queen and make food and things. Talk about the economic part, because we are calling on all the Lion Pride to go to the event to put the eye on some economic pressure and buy out the eye things them, and we will call that type of pressure down with people them, because we want to see you have to learn about supply and demand. Next you come with 50 buckle, you have to come with 100 next time, because it does disappear and vanish. So talk about the works that the eye is doing in terms of the juice business.
Yes, sir. Being one who go through the school system and get some of them system subjects and things, Because growing up I was kind of slim still, and my brother was thick and could have managed the hard work. Say, yo, you better take your book, because you can't go manage hard work, So when I did at school, I was asking what you want to become, but I couldn't see myself as none of them system worker, police, that, So I always say I go and become great in any field where most I see fit for I. That was always I answering them questions that you was cool. So, I always love agriculture though and been farming from ever since. So I actually went to Ebony Park, that one of the largest agricultural institution in Jamaica,
Yeah, okay.
Clarendon. Yes, I grew up in a community where my father met roots. Big up Bongo Rock, Mama Aish, all them brother and sister them. Their trees, bigger brother. Sister Haima, Kushai, big up family. Aiba. Haima, you all.
Yeah, man, I mean big them up, what you mean?
Right. Yeah, man, I will share it, big up Empress, big up the whole of Buzz Rock, the whole family up there.
Aye.
Man, big up the Raging Fire Roots wine them. Them really are rage, Ras Kwasi, they have to go get a sample.
Okay.
Yes, but, juice preparation for the event, I tell you, man, I do a system work, so I do some assistant management in our retail settings, like for your 9 to 5 kind of balance, because as I say, I'm in the town, rent out, certain things, but I'm the only one in my yard, so I farm out the place, me plant me, this and that. Yeah, man. And decide now, well, I'm working towards establishing my own operation.
Yeah, man.
Getting there. So I do natural juices. I don't have the bees, but I will only buy the 5 gallon and buckle it up, have my label. But mainly pushing the juice business right now and my Empress make food yachty them, lentils, vegetables, like that. So I do like spirulina punch with peanut oats, flaxseed, pumpkin seed, right banana and molasses sweetening. We don't really use no sugar.
Okay.
Jelly water with tuna, we do beetroot, carrot, any fruit in season. Yeah, man, and it's always a good vibe whenever I want pull a bottle of my juice and, even the
I taste, yeah, man, I taste the juice, man. Top of the line juice.
Yes, I.
So,
Even
anytime.
we learn the process, you have to add the water, but the weight of the fruit to the weight of the water. The water would have to be less than the weight of the fruit so you can determine how much percent juice. And so we know the process of Kwasi, so we put it together.
Yeah, man.
And we want to establish. And what we do press same way, we do extraction. Just want some more finance together if you can really, establish.
Yeah, man. And set it the right way so you can put it in at the store them.
Every Rasta show you want, we have a label we want, we have a logo we want can become a family name to the Rastafari community, Yeah, man.
And there I know you have your platform, Lion Voice Network, when you're ready for advertise.
Yes, I.
We will be here, you know what I mean, for that purpose.
Yes,
so I want to give thanks. I know that I have to go to another meeting.
Yes,
The Corridon Benevolent Society had a meeting that started already. Sister Nanny had to jump
Yes,
to the meeting. So I want to just thank the item for the item time. Sharing Bad Friday, we can never forget the massacre and the community persecution. As Rastafari Independent Non-Aligned Media, we have a duty to ensure that we are continuing these narratives and that we do not let our global family forget what we have gone through, and that it's not all a bed of roses, you know what I mean? So I want to just give the opportunity to say a final word. So we also have House of Seba with a major Haile Selassie tribute April 20th coming up as well in Salt Marsh, Trelawney. Big up Ras Jabali, the whole House of Seba, Ras Splicer, Empress Lover, all of the House of Seba family in Trelawney. If you're in Trelawney, you can go check them out. Bad Friday are gone. So whole heap of things. Again, don't let anybody tell you the Rastafari community is not active and working and putting forward the effort, and the INT is coming forward. Yes, it's a rocky road. Yes, mistakes are going to make. But what are you saying? We shouldn't try? We shouldn't move forward? Is that what the item say? It's impossible. You know what I mean? The tide that's sweeping Africa cannot be stayed. No force on earth is great enough to halt or reverse the trend. It's marches is relentless and inexorable as the passage of time. His Majesty said that, So we're not going to stop. Family, give us your final word sound to the global Rastafari family before I leave I.
Yes, sir. Mentioning the school, I did agro-food processing, Ras Kwasi. I was one of the first Rasta youth who did that course. They tell you after about a year in it and all kind of thing. But our interest was really if you know some of those names or some of them big chemicals or ingredients we always sip on some label,
Yes.
Sodium benzoate, calcium propionate, ascorbic acid, all of these. And we learn, So I chose to come out. I could have worked for one of them big corporations with a level 3 diploma. But I chose to go natural. Nature is the source,
Yes, I.
So I big up all the natural juice, because we know other bridges around Montego Bay and even around the island, we know I want a Rastafari line of, economics that bring natural juice to the people, And even through COVID, we see a rise in a demand for natural things. Even till today in Jamaica, most people are going from soda and all those, and want natural juice. So we really give thanks for your platform like Lion Voice and for one like Ras Kwasi and the whole team, And we do give thanks, and we're looking forward to see a great turnout at the Bad Friday, to come commemorate with us and, get some knowledge, get some information. We have a museum with a lot of testimonies and information where most one no prone to,
Yes, I.
Thanks. And Rastafari love to the whole family international,
Best up to the eye. Again, family, you see it. The unity is happening. Just as Babylon is falling, I and I rising. And
yes.
I and I will be there to tell the story. Why? Because the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. And this is
the Lion Voice.
TPI. The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. You're listening to the Lion's Voice blog. Respect and love from St. Croix VI to the world. Rastafari.
Greetings, this is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the Lion's Voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use as an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the power to chant. Jah give her the power to chant. Rastafari, the Lion's Voice.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the Lion's Voice.
Yes, people, this is Michael Shemai representing. I will say, hear the Lion Voice, saying it is time for the lions and the lionesses to tell their own story. King David killed Goliath with a stone, we original dread.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the Lion's Voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari live it. Hey, the Lion's Voice, Rastafari.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up Lion's Voice. Now put it, I Jollifer said that.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
lion voice. Tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice. Make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice. To the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice. Got to show the people them the light. Lion voice.